Okay, so we're doing a tomato review on the mini white grape tomato. I guess that's the only way to name it. I couldn't really find out the name of this tomato. This tomato basically came from the Wild Wonders pack. I did a taste test and review on that tomato. I'll leave the link in the description. You can watch that. And this is one of the tomatoes that came out of it, and I decided to grow it out to review it, taste test it, see if what the plant looks like and if I can develop the flavor a little better growing it in my super soil. So it's a regular leaf type tomato plant, and it's very rigid. Like the odor, there's really no odor to it. The stem part smells it smells like a tomato plant, but there's like a fruity smell to it. Not like the fruity smell of the other tomatoes, the Cosmic Eclipse and the Mini Kumato. It doesn't smell like that. It's got its own kind of a fruity smell. So these tomatoes definitely are sharing a lot of different or common type of genetics with something that has this real fruity smell to it. But I just wanted to show you the plant and show you what they look like on the bract. Here's a good example of it. Now, I have been cheating, and I have been eating a few of these here and there. They're just absolutely delicious, and I'll try to describe the flavor and the texture of it. The texture really grabs you on these tomatoes, but I'll kind of describe that better once we get to the table. I just wanted to give you a quick look at it, what the tomato looks like. And this is just a mini white grape. It's not even yellow. It's really blonde in the beginning, and then it kind of turns yellow once it gets really fully ripe. I guess that's where you want to really pick them by that point, because they're probably really sweet at that point. But I've been eating them kind of like this, but if you leave them on there a really long time, they kind of get orange like that. Okay, they kind of get, not orange, but they get like a deep bone color, it's just almost orange. So they really develop the flavor a lot more. But I like these tomatoes a lot because of the texture too. There's a very interesting texture effect when you eat these. So, all right, so just wanted to show it to you on the plant. Let's go over to the table and we'll give it a review. Okay, so we're up to the white grape tomato or mini white grape tomato. There's really no name on this particular variety. I couldn't find the name for it, but it's basically by Sunset. Came from the Wild Wonders series of tomatoes they're growing, and I figured I'd give it a grow this year to see how it would do and the flavor, if I could build it up and whatnot. As far as I know, the way the plant grows and its profile is generally a indeterminate tomato. I would believe and be under the assumption that it's a Solanum lycopersicum, probably a variant of some sort. Again, I couldn't find any information on this tomato, so I can't really give you a whole lot of details other than the tomato came from the Wild Wonder series of tomatoes by Sunset. Anyway, that was their name for the tomato. And what to show you? Let's see. We can show you the inside of the grape tomato. Now, calling it a white tomato would kind of be a misnomer. It would be a misnomer, actually. It's really a cream colored tomato. You can see the colors kind of vary a little bit. And a beautiful orange, light, very ever so slight peach color, white cream color to it. It's a very beautiful looking tomato. I'm very infatuated with the color of this tomato. It developed really well. It grew really well, even with all the rain we got. And the heat wave we got in the beginning of the year, just that heat wave really did damage the tomato plants quite a bit. It's an unfortunate thing. I just never seen heat at that high for that long of a period of time, and the damage it would take and the toll it would take on the tomatoes. It just absolutely obliterated the tomatoes this year. But I still managed to get a pretty good crop anyway. But it really did take a toll on the tomatoes, and then the blight kicked in. But this tomato is still growing. It's still putting out plenty of fruit. Just so you know, when you grow tomatoes like these little grape tomatoes and stuff like that, you generally want to pick, as soon as you start to see a half dozen or more turn to a ripened state and they look good enough for you to eat them. Don't leave them on the plant, because the sooner you get them off the plant, the sooner the plant is going to ripen up a few more of the green ones. As soon as you get them, once they're ripened off the plant, then it'll ripen more. And then once it keeps going like that, and you encourage the plant to pick back up for fall. That's why in going towards the fall time, when you do all your harvesting, start pulling all the tomatoes off the plant, you'll notice that the plant kind of gets a boost in growth, starts growing again, it starts putting out more flowers, more leaves, it gets all healthy, because a lot of stress from the plant goes into ripening up the tomato and getting them ready. So as soon as they look like they're partially ready, a little color on them, get them off the plant, because that way it'll start putting out more flowers and start making more fruit for you, and maybe you'll get another decent harvest at the end of the year. In my particular case, what I like to do is I like to forage these type of tomatoes. So I eat a few every single day that I come out. And I got, a bunch of cherry tomatoes this year. So I can eat 3-4 times a day, eat three of each tomato off of each plant, little cherry tomatoes like this, eating 3 a day off of a dozen plants. Yeah, your belly's going to be full. I mean, I eat so many tomatoes that I'm not even enjoying them anymore. I mean, I have to eat them, because it's like if I don't eat them, then the bugs are to get them, or the rain causes them to split. So I'm forced to eat them as soon as I see them ripening. Yes, I did leave a bunch of them on the plants to ripen longer than I would normally leave them on there for, but I'm doing reviews for you guys so I can get a little batch of them together and show you the plant. And normally I wouldn't do that. I'd take them right off the plant, walk away, and just do my tomato reviews. But because I'm doing my reviews a little different this year, I'm letting the tomatoes sit on the plant a little longer. And I don't normally like to do that. And for many reasons I don't do that. But for the sake of the reviews, I'm doing it for you guys. All right, so let's give this one a bite and see what it tastes like. I mean, the sweetness on this thing is incredible. Wow. This is about a 9.5. Maybe 10, if you want to say. That's very high on the scale of sweetness. This is higher than so far all the other tomatoes I've been doing so far. Very high on the brick scale. Wow. What I will say, though, about this tomato is the skins. They're very thin. They're that cellophane type of skin. They stick to the roof of your mouth, and you can't get them out unless you stick your finger in your mouth and you scrape it off the wall of your roof of your mouth. Skins are very annoying with this particular tomato, but the flavor is unbelievable. It's definitely up there. I'm not rating my tomatoes this year, but if I was to rate this, I'd definitely rate this like maybe a 1.5. Definitely be higher than 2, but it'd be almost number 1. It can't be a 1 because I have other tomatoes that are way up there. But this isn't bad. This is way up there. This is like, man, this is a tomato to grow for sure. Now, there is a little bit of an earthy tone. You have your sour, your sweet, and then there's like this tomato flavor. There is a little bit of an earthy tone, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, but some people who are sensitive to tomatoes, like they don't like certain tomato flavors and all, that might tweak you out a little bit. But if you're a tomato lover, you'll absolutely love this tomato. I will definitely be growing this again next year. I'm actually liking to grow all cherry tomatoes next year, and heck with the big tomatoes, because they're getting wiped out very quickly and easily. I can't grow them in this environment. It's way too harsh of an environment to grow these large tomatoes, at least outside of a greenhouse. But the cherry tomatoes, they fly right through it. I can grow these things and eat these all day long. I have no problem with that. Okay, so the trick to eating these tomatoes without getting the skin stuck to the roof of your mouth, you got to kind of chew it up, get it to a certain point where you can swallow it, and just swallow it with the whole skin. Don't try to grind up all the flesh off the skin and then try to... the skin separates from that flesh, gets stuck to the roof of your mouth. It doesn't want to come off. You got to kind of like chew it a little bit and just swallow it, I mean, if you go any more than that, it's going to be very irritating. Now, sweetness on this is about a 45. Incredibly high with sweetness. It's almost like drinking sugar water in there. That's how sweet it is. I can't believe how sweet this thing is. The tangy is somewhat low. I would definitely say maybe a 30 on the tangy, but it's hard to judge that when you got a sweetness of like 40, 45. I mean, this sweetness on this thing is literally off the chart. It's incredible how sweet this thing is. I bet you could separate the sugar from this thing. It's so sweet. You can literally make your own sugar out of this tomato. This is a sugar tomato. It's really, really sweet. Now, I don't mind really sweet tomatoes. I really don't mind that. But I do look forward better to balance. I like a little tardiness, a little tanginess, and the right amount of sweetness. Right in the middle. I like that middle number. This is kind of a little sweeter than I would normally want to eat my tomatoes, but it's a great snacking tomato. I could eat these things all day, no problem. Yeah, so this is, I don't know what else to say. I mean, what could you use it for? You just eat them for snacking. You grow them for a novelty. If you wanted to try to make something with a tomato that has an intense amount of sweetness like this, I would say try making ketchup. You don't need to add sugar to it. I mean, this has got all the sugar in the world. You could literally make a good ketchup out of this thing. Outside of that, it's just a snacking tomato. So that's it. That's my tomato review for the white mini cherry tomato or white grape tomato, whatever you want to call it. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.